Do I have your attention? 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 Do I have your attention?
Is you taking notes?
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Simply Food by TY, and today we are going to be making ourselves some smothered pork chops. Now, as you guys can see, these are pretty thick cuts, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stab them just a few times just to make sure that that gravy really seeps into them really nicely and that that seasoned flour coats them perfectly. Now, if you want, you can use thin pork chops. That's completely fine. It'll actually cook a whole lot quicker. Now, what we're going to be using today is Soulful Tea's seasoned flour. Now, if you guys would like to purchase a bag of this, I will leave the link down in the description box below, and let me tell you, you want to get yourself a bag. Trust me, you. Now, the reason why I decided that I wanted to test this flour out on pork chops is because, in my opinion, I feel like pork chops are some of the hardest meats to season. And to be honest, I really do. I think pork in general can be really difficult to season. And this flour did an amazing job. And y'all know, I wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't the case. Friends or not, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. This flour you need to buy. And it's so inexpensive. That's also the other reason why I actually love it. And it's quite a bit in the bag. Now, I will say I'm going to be adding in 3 extra ingredients total, but nothing that's going to alter the seasoning that she already has prepared in the pork chops. And honestly, the only reason why I added in those additional 3 seasonings is because it's just a nature of habit at this point. It's just the way I've always made them. So, you know, like sometimes you kind of can't just stir away too far from what you're used to. It's one of those kind of things, but you'll see that it's nothing crazy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just making sure that I got that seasoned flour covered all over all of these pork chops individually. Once again, like I said, we are going to be smothering these in gravy, and they are pretty thick cut. Now, I will say, if you are going to be doing thinner cut pork chops, or, you know, pork chops without the bone, then honest to goodness, you probably won't have to cook. You probably won't have to cook this as long. Now, granted, the total cook time for this in the oven is only about 1 hour and 15 minutes. But if you're using thin ones, you could probably pass with about a half hour. So like I was saying, there's a few things that I'm going to add to this, and it's just because it's just what I'm used to doing. One of them is paprika, and that is honestly just for the color. So paprika, as you all know, does not really alter the taste of anything at all. That's more so just for color. If I was using smoked paprika, that would be a different situation, but we're not using that. So that's one of them. And then the only other thing I'm adding to this, you guys, is black pepper. That's it. And that's only because I just like to have a really pungent taste of pepper when it comes to pork. I'm going to add some parsley at the very end of the recipe, but that's about it, you guys. So I have my grease here really nice hot. You want to make sure that you have that oil at temperature, because if not, the pork chops are going to steam, and then you're not going to get that really beautiful brown color that you're looking for, and then that kind of defeats the purpose. Now, mind you, we are not trying to fully cook these, you guys. You are not trying to fully cook them. You're going to cook them, depending upon how thick they are, between 2 to 3 minutes each side, or until they are golden brown. Remember, we are not trying to fully cook these, so you don't have to stress yourself out about that at all. Once they've browned over nicely on both sides, then what you're going to do is you're just going to remove it out of the pan, and you're going to sit it in whatever the baking dish is that you are going to be pouring, you know, the gravy all over the top. And then you're just going to repeat, you know, the same process with the rest of them. I think I cooked about 6 of them total, if I remember correctly. So yeah, so like I said, you're just going to repeat the same process. But what I wanted to point out right here while I have this close-up shot is, do you see how well seasoned those pork chops are? You guys, that's all from her flour. I didn't add seasonal salt. I didn't add any of that stuff. So even if you were just making like a standard pork chop sandwich, you guys are getting a glimpse at how well seasoned those pork chops would be. And I just think it's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to start working on the roux. So I poured off some of that oil because it was way too much in there. I left about maybe about a little over half a cup, and I've just added in 4 tablespoons of butter. So what you're gonna do is once that butter melts down, we're gonna add in a half a cup, you guys, of that seasoned flour. We're still using the seasoned flour. Now, one of the best things about this, I will say right now, if you are looking for a quick gravy, and if you are not one that knows how to season gravy, if you don't know how to figure out what goes with what, this makes an amazing gravy. And I mean, if you were getting ready to pour it over your turkey for Thanksgiving, or if you're about to do what I'm doing and smothering something, be it chicken, pork, steak, whatever it is. So that's also a pro about this flour. So now that this is starting to thicken up, you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on the temperature. You don't want it to burn. Of course, right now what we're doing is we're cooking off some of that raw flour taste. And now that that's done, we're adding in our 2 cups of water. We're going to be using 3 cups of water total, but that also depends on how much gravy you are making. You might need more, you might need less. It just depends on if you're doubling the recipe or, only doing half of the recipe. So you guys are going to notice pretty quickly that this is going to thicken up very, very fast, which is fantastic, which is the reason why you want to make sure, you guys, that you have that extra cup of water on the side, because like I said, that really truly does depend on your taste and your liking. You might want to thin it out. You might want to leave it thick. Now, for me personally, I don't want it to be too thick before it goes into the oven, and I also don't want it to be too thin. So I'm looking for about the happy medium. Like, to me right here, this is a bit too thick, which is the reason why I'm going to add in that extra 1 cup of water. I like mine to be a tinge more on the thinner side prior to me putting it in the oven, because once you put it into the oven, it's going to thicken up a bit more anyway. So that's just the way I like to do it. But depending upon how you like your gravy, honey, you can do whatever you want. So now that I pretty much got this to about the consistency that I like, we're going to get ready to start pouring them over the pork chops. Now, if you want, you can taste this and see if you would like to add any salt and pepper, but you really should not have to. You want to make sure, you guys, that the oven is preheated at 350 degrees. And now we're just going to pour this delicious, my God, this don't make no damn sense. Just, I don't know why I get so worked up, but just look at it. And if you want to, you could put yourself some onions and peppers and do all of that. But I'm doing mine just like this. I'm going to put some parsley on the top. I'm going to bake these, you guys, in the oven, wrapped with aluminum foil, like I said, for about an hour and 15 minutes. And these bad boys came out fabulously. Do y'all see how good they look? I mean, they look actually stunning. I mean, just like, honestly. Now I know y'all want some of these. I know you do. It's okay. Look, I get it. I would want it too. I can't even lie to you. So look. So what I did was I went on ahead and made me some rice, and I'm just going to put mine right on top of this rice, serve it up with mashed potatoes, broccoli, whatever you want. I like mine with rice. Pour me some extra gravy over the top and just have a ball. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As always, I hope you guys try out this recipe, and I will see you guys next week. Y'all baby, stay cute and take care. Bye, guys.
Simply Food by TY.